Hello guys, and welcome back to another skill point guide video for Total War Warhammer 3 on Immortal Empires. Today we'll be going over Taurox, the Brass Bowl for the Beastmen faction. Now if you guys haven't checked it out, Taurox is very similar like the Scarbrand video that I talked about in terms of how you upgrade, in terms of how you spend the skill points of Scarbrand rather, in which at a certain point you will want to save up points so you can get the rest of his kind of special skill line up here, which I believe you unlock the favorite of the Skull Throne here at rank 12. So looking into that, we'll need like 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7 points. So once you hit rank 7, going into rank 8, you'll want to start saving up those points. But anyway, let's just jump on in and talk about Taurox. Obviously, the first point, getting more campaign movement range. Now, as the Beastmen, you do actually get 10% rather than 5% that other factions get. So you'll be able to move across the map even further with the Beastmen factions. Plus, with Taurox's Rampage mechanic and being able to constantly fight battles in a single turn, it's really good and really vital that you get as much campaign movement range as possible. Which, if you haven't played Taurox but are aware of like how Scarbrand functions, it's more or less the same, just not to an extreme extent. In terms of being able to just blow up like 30 settlements in a turn, but still very powerful. So that's why you need that extra campaign movement range. But then after that, I actually go with the Fatigued Galleypot, I believe is how you pronounce it, just so you get that extra casualty replenishment rate. Fighting many battles each turn, you're more likely than not going to take quite a bit of damage on your units, especially early on when you have a bunch of like Ungor units, Warhounds. It won't be until later on in the campaign where you're getting more Minotaurs where you'll take less damage. So really got to make sure early on that you get your units back up to full health as quickly as possible there. And then I usually just end up grabbing the Blessed by Evil. Gives you some extra money after each fight, plus an extra 10% chance of potentially stealing a enemy's item. And then also grabbing Unholy Resilience just to grab some casualty replenishment rate for Taurox, because him being a melee focused fighter, he will end up taking quite a bit of damage depending on the situation and the battles. So it's really good over the end turn that you get as much replenishment for him as possible. In terms of just finishing his blue line, now obviously you're going to spend more points here before or after hitting rank 12, which again I recommend once you hit rank 8, start saving the skill points so you can unlock all of these at once. But just finishing with the blue line, I would get the Foul Premonitions just so you increase your ambush success chance, because as the Beastman, again if you're unfamiliar with it, your standard stance is ambush, so you always have a chance of ambushing the enemy. So the higher chance that is, the better your battle outcome will be, because the enemy will have that leadership debuff. And then I usually do the Gathering of the Beast just so in case you lose some units, you can recruit more faster over the end turn. And then getting the Children of Chaos is good because it gives you an extra 5% campaign movement range there. So that's really what I do with the blue line. I really like it. I think it's pretty solid way to go about it. But then moving on, because he is a melee lord, he really focuses on just killing things. And Taurox is really good at doing it. Now, definitely want to get all of these abilities in this line here for several reasons. One, you got to get the favorite of the Skull Throne just to unlock all of these, but it does provide your army with spell resistance, which is really good, as well as a ability that lasts for 41 seconds, which is in a fight is a really long time. A 40% ward save and 24 melee defense for Taurox. That is an insane buff. It can make a really big difference in a fight. This is just giving him more weapon strike, charge bonus. He's just going to hit a little harder. Also giving him the dazed effect, which makes whoever he's fighting worse at fighting against him, with a reduced melee defense and less speed, so they can't run away from him. Titans of the Deep Forest is good just to increase your Gorgon capacity, which is just a really strong unit, which that's good. It's not nearly as a priority compared to the other 3 in the skill line, but it's definitely good to get later on in the in his skill point tree here. But definitely want to grab Gorfeast, giving him replenishment when in melee. He's going to be in melee like 99.9% of the time, so might as well give him some easy replenishment there. Now, after going down his special skill line, you can do a variety of things. You can focus on his red line, or just making him individually a better fighter first. I usually recommend going down his melee line over his red line, because early on you really don't have that many Minotaurs, and if you look at the time it's going to take to actually increase your capacity for Minotaurs, it's going to take a while, and so really you're only going to be buffing 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 units if you're lucky, if you end up getting the Regiment of Renown unit early on. So really you're not going to benefit that much from the red line compared to making him even stronger in melee. So with that being said, definitely grab every point in his melee line. Basically, when it comes to a melee lord, grab everything in his melee line. It's just going to make him tankier. It's going to make him stronger. I mean, again, this is his base stats with going down his entire melee line with no extra items. He hasn't gotten his rune tortured axes yet. Typically, when playing as Taurox, I usually end up grabbing the Sword of Khaine as Beastman. You face no penalties whatsoever for the Sword of Khaine. You don't pay for your armies. Being the Beastman faction overall, almost every single race other than Beastmen are going to hate you anyway. So reducing that relation even further is not that big of a deal. Plus, the more people that hate you, more people will probably declare war on you, which just means more battles that Taurox and his armies will be fighting. So really like getting the Sword of Khaine when playing as Taurox. But then after finishing out his melee line, because of that though, I forgot to mention, if you do end up getting the Sword of Khaine, I don't get the leadership skill points, just because you'll become unbreakable, so there's no need to waste 2 points into Indomitable there. But after that, definitely grab some missile resistance, just make him a little tankier against missiles. He's a larger target, so just reduce that potential missile damage that you'll be facing. Same with Uncanny Senses, give him spell resistance, so he's more resistant to spells like Spirit Leech. And then just Gorge Tusk, make him a little stronger in melee with some higher weapon strength. Then I do like to get the Fueled by Blood. Provide speed and vigor loss reduction, so your units will be faster on the battlefield and also fight better for longer there as well. Now after that, we still have quite a few points to spend. Definitely put 3 points into Mentor. Again, just spending or sharing some of that experience after he's hit rank 50 is a pretty solid way to go. And then depending on which way you want to go for your Minotaurs, it's really up to you. If you want to end up giving them more melee defense or more melee attack. I personally just end up doing the melee defense, just because the bullish metal gives him personally more melee defense and ward save, which anytime you can grab some easy and cheap ward save is really good there. So I usually get those 2 abilities, and then after that, with the remaining 6 points I have, I just put the rest of the points into the red line. That way, if I can find it here we go, the Hoofed Heavyweights, just because he buffs Minotaurs so much with weapon strength and among like the Herd Lord ability or a skill point there, give them more melee attack, more melee defense, just to make them a little tankier there. Now the last 2 points, actually, since I can't progress down the red line further to get the where is their skill point? I just had it. Well, anyway, you can't like get the like tier 7 or rank 7 and above ability to make them even stronger. So I usually just like to finish out the blue line, which I usually do Blessed by Evil, just for a higher chance of stealing magic items from the enemy and also giving yourself more post-battle loot, which is just more money for your economy, so you can build more buildings, whether it's in your Hearthstones or your camps as well, because things do get very expensive very quickly, and your money will be spent very quickly when playing as a Beastman faction. But that is the skill guide for Taurox. Let me know down in the comments what you think, how you guys level him up, if it's any different or different kind of strategies that you guys use with him. I'm always excited to learn different ways to level up a Lord that may be different from mine. But if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel to stay notified of when I go live for some live streams or release the next video. But until then, have a good one, guys, and I will see you later. Bye.